You
Oh,
there.
thank you so much, Zoe, and thanks very much, Janet. So I would mostly be focusing on the case studies that we produce in Royal Borough of Greenwich. Okay, so with there are sufficient funds, we actually which will support anything above £500. The residents of we actually through this scheme called emergency support scheme. However, with these clients, as so throughout this presentation, I'll be using ESS as a short form. Yes, I have these funds, but I don't know how to manage my funds. Thanks, Janice. Can we go to the next slide, please? We refer them to the money advice team because so the aims and objectives is just mainly budget their funds, how to manage their funds, how to see if there's any way that they can ESS is there can be any form of reduction in their monthly bills. So we can refer them to the right monetary support, or I know I have sufficient items for the but I still am for the accommodations through the government funding. Can we go to the next one? Next slide, please. Okay, we can go to the next slide. That's fine. Okay, thank you. So emergency support scheme is a scheme that provides emergency support for our residents. It's a discretionary scheme that is mainly to provide support for residents who have no means to no financial means, or people who are on benefits but still do not have sufficient funds, especially because of the increase in high cost of living. The emergency support scheme has been running successfully since 2013, and we've received over 5,000 applications per year since it has started. ESS provides support through Community Support Award and Emergency Support Payment. So Community Support Award is when we support clients with items such as furniture and white goods for their permanent, when they're moving from temporary accommodation to permanent accommodation, or if someone is homeless. Also, emergency support payment is how we help our clients with monetary funding, such as we give them actual money to top up their electricity or gas, or for food, or for people who probably have dietary requirements and are unable to eat foods provided by the food bank. This scheme, the emergency support scheme, is mainly awarded to people who are on low income or on benefits. Can we go to the next slide, please? Thanks, Janet. So as emergency support scheme, we do not only provide these monetary funds for residents, we also refer or signpost clients or residents to other departments that can help. And one of the departments is the housing inclusion team for people who are homeless. And over a period of time, we've noticed that there's been some issues. We've seen things has changed from how it was from 2013 to now that we're in 2023, we've seen a drastic increase in new admission into a temporary accommodation. This has gone up from 1,000 to 1,900 at the moment as we speak today. We've seen also as well that the temporary accommodation are currently housing at least 160 families are being placed into travel lodge because they couldn't find accommodation for them, which means that they have to book hotels, they have to move from one hotel to another, from one venue to another. It could be maybe someone who was housed in travel lodge within Greenwich this week with their children, or maybe as a single person because they're homeless and they couldn't find another temporary accommodation for them or rent a private accommodation for them, would be moved to another travel lodge in Bromley, which means that they have to transfer. And in this case, emergency support schemes still support them, even though they are being placed in this travel lodge by the housing inclusion team. We support them with additional funds, such as because they do not have cooking facilities, although the hotel provides breakfast for them, but they still need help with lunch and dinner, and this is what we help them with, and also for transportation. Thank you, Janet. Can we get... So this is just a glance of what ESS application statistics is at the moment. Our ESS used to receive 250 applications per month before COVID. After post-COVID, the application has increased drastically to at least 750 applications per month. Between 50% to 60% of these applications are usually successful, and emergency support scheme are currently spending on average £80,000 per month. Thanks, Janet. So again, just more information on the amounts of applications, claims that are successful, the total awards that has been awarded. As we can see that this has drastically increased. Before, we used to spend like around 390,000, just over 394,000 per year, but now it's gone, as of last year, it's drastically increased to over 800,000 per year that we can account for. Over 6,000 and 6,800 applications were successful. Thanks, Janet. So we go to the real life case. Real life case of how emergency support scheme actually supports clients. So this is one of our clients that we worked with, who was a single parent, 61 years old. She was unable to work. She had multiple physical and mental health conditions. She applied for emergency support scheme multiple times. She was in receipt of legacy benefits, including housing benefits and council tax support. There was a shortfall in her rent and council tax because she has non-dependent children living with her, age 21 and 22. They do not have any assets or any savings. Our children were also in receipt of universal credit. This was a client who was living in a private accommodation, large but poorly insulated property. She had a prepayment meter for gas and electricity. She had substantial arrears on her electricity bills, also on our water bills as well. So how emergency support scheme has assisted this client, even though she's applied multiple of times. The first time she applied, she gave us a brief information of how she's struggling. So we assisted her with cash, £300. So, and one of the things we do is we identify what the problem is. We don't just give our clients or residents cash. We also see how we can support them in the long run. How can this problem be resolved in such a way that they can manage their funds effectively well? So another thing we did was we issued food bank voucher worth of £50 to this client. We then referred this client. We also have other teams that we work with within the Royal Borough of Greenwich. Royal Borough of Greenwich actually provides an in-house advice, such as we work closely with the welfare rights team. We work closely with the universal support team. We work closely as well with money advice team. So money advice team helps clients with their budgeting, helps them to see how they can reduce their monthly expenses, helps them to see if they can actually apply for other grants, or how they are, if they have an accumulated debt, how can it be reduced, or how can they pay lesser amounts on a monthly basis. And on this client's case, we work closely with the money advice team, and they were able to assist clients to increase their ongoing entitlement to housing benefits by over £1,000, close to almost £2,000 per year. They were able to also increase their entitlement to council tax support by over £300. The housing benefit was also backdated just by working closely with this money advice team by over £3,000 as a one-off. And we also work closely with the housing inclusion team, ensure that these clients are being rehoused as quickly as possible with the little commodity that we have. And this client was rehoused into a council property. Another way that emergency support scheme then comes in again is by supporting this client with community support award, by providing furniture and basic white goods such as fridge, freezer, things that they need, cooker for them. So as I've mentioned earlier, emergency support scheme does not provide an ongoing support, but we do refer our clients, we identify what the problem is, and we refer them to other departments or other teams that can provide support to address their underlying issues. As I've mentioned, I highlighted that we referred this particular client to money advice team, and they were adequately supported. So, and that's how we're able to help these clients with their cost of living and community support award. So I will be discussing sharing another case with you. Thanks, Janet. So another case of where we had a temporary accommodation issue and cost of living is also a single parent with a 15-year-old child who was still in education, who had asthma. This parent also was unemployed, but she was also looking for job, even though she had mental health and mobility issue, or she believed she could still do some job remotely. And this client was in receipt of benefits, which is PIP, the personal independent payment, and universal credit. She was still paying council tax despite being out of job. She was an housing association tenant, had rent arrears of over £1,000, 1,200 to be precise. She had a prepayment meter again, had high substantial rent arrears on water bills, and gas and electricity. So we assisted this client with cash. We referred her to the money advice team again to be assisted with Thames Water Help Scheme, through Thames Water Help Scheme. and also to see if there's any form of grant that she might be missing out on because she's in receipt of benefits. And they managed to secure a leave work grant of £200 for her. They also managed to help her to get a council tax support of over £800 per year, a British Gas Electricity Funds grants as well of over £800. In this case, emergency support scheme team, we identified what the problem was. We referred her to money advice team for additional support, and they were able to help her with our cost of living. Thanks, Janet. Okay, so this also is another exceptional case that we worked on. This was a single parent with 2 dependent children. Again, as I said, because we have low housing stock, clients are now being placed into temporary accommodation, such as Travel Lodge, because they couldn't secure a temporary accommodation for them. So they are being placed into a hotel, and they are being moved from time to time. This particular client approached us because she could not afford to buy. She could not afford any food for her children, even though she was in receipt of benefits. Her benefits was life and in payment, and also because they had to travel in order for her to take her children to school. This client was staying in the hotel with her dependent children, and where they were being given breakfast with no access to cooking facilities. She still had to take her children to school. She was constantly running out of money. So in this case, we assisted this client with at least £100 every fortnight, depending on what her situation is, in order to ensure that we support her. Again, emergency support scheme, we don't provide a top-up, we are not a benefit top-up, but we do identify that sometimes there's some exceptional cases where clients are in need, and we do step in to support them. Thanks, Janet. So this will be our last case that I would be discussing today. Is a client that we worked with. This is an extremely vulnerable client who could not access his benefits or does not have any access to cash or any other source due to his severe mental health condition. He was yet to be sanctioned, as at the time he approached emergency support scheme. DWP provided a payment exception voucher, but it was in his previous name, and client could not access his benefits. As a result of this, we had to step in to support clients. How we assisted clients was we liaised with the Oxleys in order to ensure that clients undertake mental health capacity assessment for clients. We made arrangement because of clients, mental health condition. We made arrangement because this client, again, does not have the capacity to manage their funds. They don't have any access to any other funds. So what we did, we made an arrangement for them to be given small amounts over a period of time, such as £50 every 3 days. And this was an ongoing support that we provided for this client because it's an exceptional case. We also liaised with welfare rights team, and welfare rights team also liaised with DWP to ensure that they resolve his benefits. Again, ESS does not provide an ongoing support, but we do make exemption for residents who we can see are really struggling, needs our help whenever they need continuous or ongoing support. We make sure that we support them. In this case, this person had a complex benefits issue, and as we speak at the moment, this client has now been sectioned. Is communicated again back to us, let us know, it's better now, and we're moving towards resolving the benefit issues gradually. Okay, thanks, Janet. So again, we have our contact details there if anyone needs it, for any further information or any additional information. And we're usually open between 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday to Friday.